Zapped is a Disney Channel original movie from 2014, and it is really bad. However, most of the problems with the movie aren't really worth going that much into because they kind of just come with the genre and the fact that it's a made-for-TV movie that we're talking about. The characters, generic as hell. The filmmaking, incredibly bland, and when it isn't bland, it's awful. Some establishing shots are sped up for no reason, and about 4 times they do this thing where the camera speeds up into a character's face while shaking all over the place, and it looks terrible. The acting, of course it's bad. The one kind of funny bad thing about this movie is how the performances are so bizarre that you can pause at almost any point and someone will be making a really terrible face. The writing, on the level where a character straight up tells the protagonist that she's stupid, boy crazy, and annoying.
That's so refreshing. I'm usually the clueless one. Oh, boy crazy? Yeah, that's the official diagnosis. Because sometimes people have trouble with my tendency to talk excessively well. No one's really listening.
The humor, I know humor is subjective, but...
Jump, shake, roll. Jump, shake, roll. Jump, shake, roll. Jump, shake.
The interesting problems don't begin until about 25 minutes in, when the main character downloads an app that supposedly will make her new family's dog listen to her, but then some dumb shit happens and suddenly the app makes boys do what she says. This device is what takes the movie from being just another generic made-for-TV movie to actually being pretty insultingly terrible. She starts using it to go on a power trip, but later begins to notice that her use of the device is causing a bunch of problems for others. You can probably already guess where the plot is heading, and in case you can't, the comic relief friend character explains it to us.
So, you know how in the movies, when people get magic powers and it all ends up going wrong? Like you end up turning into a werewolf, or traveling back in time and stopping your dad from meeting your mom, and accidentally erasing yourself from existence. Do you think that maybe could happen to us?
They're going for the main character tells a lie or abuses some power they find, takes it too far, and has to set things right trope. This is a very common and easy to use trope. Other Disney Channel movies use this trope and get it right. Video Brinquedo rip-off movies use this trope and get it right. You can pretty much write one of these movies by filling in one of those grade school level plot graphs and inserting jokes here and there. But this movie... okay, let's compare. In Aladdin was reluctant to do the right thing and tell Jasmine the truth because he thought that she would reject him if she found out he wasn't actually a prince, and when he does decide he should tell the truth before it goes too far, Jafar interferes before he has a chance. Simple. In High School Musical, Troy and Gabriella's friend groups don't do the right thing at first because they wanted Troy and Gabriella to focus on what they wanted them to focus on, and their character arc was realizing that that was a selfish and manipulative thing to do. Once they realize this, since there's no physical obstacle stopping them, they just go right ahead and try to set things right before it's too late. Simple. In Little and Big Monsters, Dr. Crumb and Dr. Zoots don't tell the truth about their past because if they did it would ruin their reputation. But when the lie gets to the point of putting Dr. Crumb's family in danger, he decides it's gone too far and has to set things right. Simple. And the aforementioned plot graphs for all those movies look like this. But now let's try to draw out the plot graph for Zapped. So, the inciting incident was that the main girl accidentally caused the dog whistle up on her phone to control boys. The rising action was her abusing this power and inadvertently creating a bunch of problems for everyone. Eventually, she decides that she's taking it too far, and... I'm having trouble finding the words to describe this part because I've never seen or heard of a movie with this issue before. If you noticed that blonde bully character earlier, you probably guessed that she would end up with the phone and play the role as a physical obstacle stopping the protagonist from setting things right, and technically you'd be correct, but that doesn't happen until well after the point where the main girl decides she's taken it too far. It results in this incredibly confusing period of the movie where the protagonist has every opportunity to set things right, and has no character motivations that are making her decide against it, but she just doesn't do it for some reason. There's this whole scene that's just the main girl and the friend character talking about how shit everything is now, while the device is still in her hand in perfect working condition, and we saw earlier in the movie that she's perfectly capable of using it to return boys to normal, when she changes her mind about these muscle guys. But in this scene she just continues to use it on more people and doesn't even make a small attempt to fix the problem she's causing. It isn't until a while after this scene when, like a complete idiot, she uses the device right in front of the blonde bully. Not to try and set things right, of course, just to do more stupid shit and cause even more problems, and the blonde bully figures it out. I don't know how this didn't happen earlier, considering the main character made no attempt to be secretive about this thing, but whatever. At the end of the scene, the thing everyone predicted would happen actually happens, at the complete wrong point in the movie for it to make any sense, and the blonde bully steals the phone from the protagonist. But not before the protagonist uses it to sexually assault her love interest. It was a complete nightmare to try and find the words to describe that part. Like I said earlier, pretty much all you have to do to write a movie like this is fill in one of those plot graphs I was talking about, but somehow they couldn't even figure that out. And believe it or not, during the climax, this movie manages to go off the rails even further. The best way I can put it is they try to write themselves out of a corner that they aren't even in. And they do it twice. First, after she confesses that she's been using the phone to her family, she says that she wanted to set things right earlier, but didn't know how. And then the youngest brother offers the solution of using the release command. I guess this was their attempt at an excuse as to why she didn't undo it when she had the chance earlier, but it completely falls flat on its face because A, she didn't try to undo it earlier, and B, as I said, we were shown earlier that she was perfectly capable of returning them to normal. All she had to do was tell them to do whatever they normally do. Not to mention, the release command. They act like this is one of the standard dog commands, like sit or something, but I have a dog, and I know a lot of other people who have dogs, and I've never heard of this before. It's not like this was even a callback to something earlier in the movie. No character has used or even mentioned this command before this point. And secondly, when they're trying to get the phone back from the blonde bully, who they're trying their hardest to make the villain of the movie despite her not doing anything the main character didn't do earlier, there's this bizarre scene where the main girl starts acting like the device is controlling her, and then for some reason her family is able to do the things that she's doing instead of what the blonde bully is telling them to do. They do a loose callback to a line from earlier in the movie, where one of the kids said that a pack will never turn on itself and family equals pack, I guess. But how does that apply in this scenario? And why does it apply to the love interest that she's known for about 3 days? It doesn't even end up serving a purpose, because a few seconds later the friend character just tackles the bully character and makes her drop the phone. And then the main girl gets it back and sets everyone back to normal. And the family resolution and the love interest gets together and all that. If it was that simple, why didn't you just have them do that from the beginning? Why'd you write in this bizarre deus ex machina that doesn't even serve a purpose as minor as being a distraction? It probably would have taken less effort to make this movie better. By the end, the plot graph ends up looking like this, a complete incoherent mess. I can't believe those words apply to something that didn't even try to be anything more than a generic throwaway Disney Channel original movie, but here we are.